What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Pastors Game 2 Panther franchise. This is going to be a different kind of episode. Well, maybe not that different for some of you who've been following us for a little while, but this is an episode that won't have any gameplay. We are going to review our season and preview the offseason. Kind of walk through some of the menus and look at what's happened. Man, we had a crazy good season, man. This season was a historic season in a couple of ways that we'll get into. It's our second Super Bowl win in 3 years. We're going into our fourth season, but before we get into that, we just want to take a look back and see, remember and review what this season was all about. So if you're in for that, then thanks for hanging out with us. Appreciate it. Hit the like the video, subscribe to the channel. You know the deal. But let's get into it. I left the season recap, but as we mentioned, we were Super Bowl champions, won the game 24-17, was in control of that game for most of the game, and the Bengals started to come back at the end, but we were able to get it done. Raheem Blackshear with 3 touchdowns is the Super Bowl MVP, and he's probably the playoff MVP because he came through big in the playoffs. Josh Allen ended up winning the NFL MVP. Beaux Jackson, which is us, we win the Coach of the Year, and Jonathan Taylor, Player of the Year. Brian Burns had a historic season. We'll see that in just a minute. And then Justin Peters, quarterback for the Rams, rookie quarterback, offensive rookie of the year, and John Dickens, the defensive rookie of the year. So I like to go and just kind of go back and look at the schedule to start. Just kind of see like what happened. And we ended up facing off against the NFC East teams as well as our teams, and a couple AFC West teams. Actually, I think we did all the AFC West. Did we play the Broncos? Yeah, we did play. Yeah, so it's the NFC East and the AFC West that we played against this year, along with the NFC South. So started out with a huge win, 21-0. The Eagles is one of those teams. They were rated 85 overall, and the problem with them is they just don't have a quarterback. And so this guy here, Taylor Heineke, he just wasn't good enough, man. We got to him, we sacked him 5 times, and that was just a good start to the season. But watch out for Philly in the offseason, because if they draft a quarterback or if they sign a quarterback, they are going to be a very good team next year. They are good everywhere else but at quarterback. This game here, the Washington Commanders, if you guys missed it, you need to go and check it out. The Washington Commanders had the most improbable comeback ever. You're looking at those box scores, you see that we were winning pretty big. It was 35-14 in the end of the first half, and look at Washington with that 28 points in the fourth quarter, and then they win in overtime. This was a big upset. It was a huge upset for us. We just gave away the game at the end, and Don McCoy was rookie quarterback, and this was the beginning of his whole thing. He was the top quarterback stat getter of the year, and it started right here, man. And he did his thing. That was a good game to watch, and it was tough to watch the defense crumble over that. Buccaneers was a good game as well. We were able to pull that one out at the end. And then we started to get some weaker opponents. Falcons are a weaker opponent. The Raiders ended up being a weaker opponent overall. Packers was a good game as well. Yeah, they were a good game. Broncos, a decent game. The Saints was a good game, but overall, man, we were doing all right. We lost against the Saints. Oh, that's right. Yeah, we lost. Yeah, we lost to the Saints. This was another classic game. The Saints come back in the fourth quarter and get a touchdown with 3 seconds left in the game. A Hail Mary Again, you should go watch, at least watch the end of the game and check it out. They end up winning in overtime on a fumble scoop and score where we had run the ball down to the 20-yard line and was going to go ahead and try to punch it in to win it. So it was another loss that we would later want to avenge. So right now we wanted to beat the Commanders, and we definitely wanted to take out the Saints. The Bengals, we had an amazing game, 59-10, and this would be the Super Bowl matchup as well. But we were able to, coming off of that Saints loss, it's like that defense came out ready. We played the Giants. We ended up playing the Giants in the Super Bowl as well. I mean, in the playoffs as well. But you can see we're starting to score points here. I guess what's key to see is we still aren't really running or passing the ball well. It's really all about the defense. Offensive passing yards, 245. But we are getting a lot of plays. The defense is the offense, I kept saying, because the defense kept scoring. The Chargers, we win. Cowboys, we lost. A good game there. That's just a good game to watch as a football game, I think. Nothing crazy, just a fun game to watch. Buccaneers, we played again. Saints, we beat 63-7. This one I thought I recorded, but I didn't get to record, and we scored 62 points against the Saints. And then the week after that, we scored 72. 63 points, not from crazy offense. Like, look at the offense here for us. We have 317 passing yards. That's not crazy. And 132 rushing yards. But the turnovers, they had one turnover, but wait a minute, that can't be right. I think we did more than that. Let's see what happened here. Bryce Young had 6 touchdown passes in this game. Almost all of them pretty close because he's only 324 yards. Looking at the receivers, Mingo had 4 of them, but he only had 77 yards. So the defense was giving us the ball in pretty good position in this game. Again, the defense is really what stood out in that one. And then we get the Seahawks. So we'll talk some more, but we ended up with a 13-3 record. And a medium difficulty as far as our schedule is concerned. Okay, so moving on past the schedule, we're going to look at some of the team's statistics. Go ahead to the stats and awards. And we'll just see how the team did in a lot of ways, especially in relation to the whole league. Again, offensively, we weren't great. Like, the Bengals was the top offensive team as far as total yardage is concerned. They look like they did the thing here. The Colts were next, and they were probably getting there because of their rushing, 2,500 yards rushing for the Colts, and then the Commanders right after them. Again, you got to watch out. The rookie quarterback for Commanders, Don McCoy, man, if he plays like that for the rest of his career, man, he's gonna be amazing. You see the Bills, you see the Cowboys. We are all the way down here. We are, I think we may be last. Oh no. What are we? 32, 31, 30, 29, 28, 27, 26. We're the 26th offense as far as points, as far as yards generated. We did get a lot of rushing yards with 2,135. I think we're at least top 10, maybe top 5 when it comes to this category. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, we're the number 5 rushing offense. But we did not get much in the air. 3,755 yards in the air. Passing touchdowns, though, we had a lot of short yardage, and so here we are with a 47 touchdowns passing. We lead in that category, but we had so many red zone opportunities, and we got stopped on the one so many times that we ended up just having a bunch of these opportunities. Defensively, we are the number 1 defense by far, and this is the thing to look at. 99 sacks. We almost had 100 sacks in this season. That is crazy to think about. 100 sacks in 17 games. That's like 5 sacks a game, at least. Is it 5? It's almost 5. 4. It's 4 and a little bit per game. And we also forced 19 fumbles and 22 interceptions. It was clearly a defensive year for us. One of the best defenses, I keep saying, for the history of the league. Only barely 1,000 yards rushing for the entire year we give up, and we are definitely the lowest when it comes to passing yards. And I know that with the computer, you know, we get a little, the defense is always a little skewed, but man, I usually don't get 99 sacks. And you know, that is where we are with that. Turnovers is huge. You see, we were the biggest guys. Did we get the most turnover difference? What? The Ravens had more turnover difference than us? What's that mean? I don't even know what turnover difference means. We had 24 interceptions. We had, oh, that's what it is. We gave away. We gave the ball and we took it away. Yeah, we had 44 takeaways, which leads the league. With the Saints behind us, 22 interceptions. Saints weren't that bad either. 19 fumble recoveries, like we mentioned before. Looking at some of the, let's see, what else can we look at here? Maybe red zone efficiency. I don't know that we were all that efficient. I feel like we should have had a lot. Yeah, I'm about to say we had definitely the most attempts. Again, we were on the amount of times we would get stopped on the 1, 2, or 3 yard line is incredible. It's just a lot of them. But yeah, 108 attempts and 48. So we were 44%. That's not a very good percentage. We could not run the ball in from those points. If the computer knew we were running and at goal line stands, it just wasn't happening. But one of the best statistical defensive seasons, period, of the year. A couple things to see here in some NFL records. We did get a couple NFL records this season. The first of which is defensive sacks in a season. Brian Burns ended up with 28 sacks. Von Miller in this franchise, I believe, got 24. But 28 sacks. 28 sacks, y'all, for Brian Burns. Came through and did the thing. And we also had a rushing yards break attack. And I didn't realize it while I was playing this game. I also didn't know that it would count for the record. But Raheem Blackshear just blows by Adrian Peterson's rushing record, gets 323 yards. 323 yards on the ground. That was the first game of the playoffs against the New York Giants. And he just had big run after big run in that game. So 323 yards, Raheem Blackshear, Raheem the Dream, is in the record books. And he's down here too. He's down here at 264 in last year's game. So, man, he's got a couple big days for us. All right, so speaking of team player stats, Bryce Young, up and down quarterback for real. He's rated 90 right now, and they have him listed as a franchise quarterback, which I think that has to be because he has a couple touchdowns. But if you look at his year, his production, this year he's down. In fact, every year he's gone down a little bit more. In 2022, he had almost 5,000 yards, 31 touchdowns, and 29 interceptions. It's not the ratio that you wanted, but it wasn't, you know, it was his rookie year. We thought we would try to figure him out. This year, he gets a little bit better QB rating, but less yardage, and he had, not this year, last year, a little bit better, and this year, even less yardage, but his QB rating is a little bit better. And so what to do about Bryce Young? I think we'll talk about him when we get to salary, but Matt Corral, his backup, is up for contract extension, and we don't think we're going to extend him. We may end up bringing in some competition for Bryce and seeing what that does to him. But yes, he had a pretty good year. I mean, it was okay. He threw the least amount of interceptions. He threw a lot more touchdowns, was sacked a lot less, and threw the ball a lot less. So also completed a lot less. But I don't know about Bryce. There's times where I make a lot of mistakes with him, of course, and there's times where he just throws the ball really erratically, and that's frustrating. Raheem Blackshear had 1,800 again. I think he is also he went down a little bit this year. A few less touchdowns. We didn't run nearly as much with him. We actually did. It's weird that we had overall less production. I think it's because the defense just gave us the ball without a lot of yards. We got a lot of good field position with our defense. But the significant jump from the first year to the second year for Raheem, we didn't see that same thing. But he kept the same general level, which is good. He was pretty good there. Looking at receiving, this is our first year with 2,000-yard receivers. I don't believe we had 1,000-yard receivers the first year or the second year. I think Lucas was close. I think he had 700 something. In fact, let's look. I think he had like 700 and something last time. And he was close. Yeah, 972. Didn't have the 1,000 though. Less receiving, less catches, but more yardage. Tyrone Lucas is a good player. He ends up winning the offensive player of the year, and congrats on his first 1,000-yard season. Jonathan Mingo, I think, had 1,000 yards last year, though, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, barely did, and he matches his production. A lot more receptions, which is good to see. I need Jonathan Mingo kind of to be that possession guy, that third down receiver that I can trust to get the ball to in traffic and in short and medium range. And he started the season that way, and then kind of ended the season that way. So I want to see more receptions from him. The yards are not that big a deal. It's the receptions. 14 touchdowns though. So Mingo had a good year this year as well. The rookie RJ Gerard came in, and he really was a star dev, and ends up getting downgraded at the end of this season. But he was hitting for most of the season. We didn't put him into the game until, I don't know when we put him in the game. I think we put him in the game. Let's see, where did he starts to show up week number 5. So starting with week number 5, he's starting to put up some pretty good numbers. And so you look at his stats with that in mind, he could have been a 1,000-yard receiver. It's possible. If he'd have 5 more games, yeah, maybe. I like him. He only had 3 touchdowns. He's a good slot. Really going to be a deep threat. And I like our 3 receivers. These are our 3 mains. Mark Allen also played okay. Played a lot better at the end of the season than he at the beginning. And Blackshear was pretty good as well. Okay, let me kind of fire through these real quick. Defensively, both of our safeties led in tackling, and it's because the scheme we're running pulls the safeties up, and they are able to play the run in a lot of these dime packages that we put out, as well as play the pass. And so these hybrid players are getting these tackles, which I think is great. So Tyrone Porter, one of our better defenders, leads the league, leads the team in tackles. Darnell Savage. Stokes is there next. Again, we bring a lot of pressure with our corners, and then Brian Burns is the guy who gets in there, who's not a cornerback. So not in the secondary. So you have a lot of secondary tackles. A lot of these are receptions and tackles. Brian Burns and Von Bell pop in there. Jimmy Rogers also in there. Looking at the sacks, 28 sacks by Brian Burns, and Tyree Wilson started to come on late. I think he's a superstar X factor now, and so we've got superstar X factors on both sides of the line starting his next season, and that is going to be nuts. And Wusu Koromoa, one of the better players for us. Michael Carter come off the side as well. We did a lot of tackling in the backfield. Tackles for loss, Brian Burns had 44, 29, 24, 15. These are huge numbers. So the defense played extremely well. Interceptions, JC with 9, Dante with 5. You can see what's here. And then we also had fumbles forced. I think it's either going to be Jimmy Rogers. Yeah, Jimmy Rogers had the most fumbles forced. Yeah, he was definitely hitting people. So there's a look at that. If you want to kind of look, go through this a little bit more than you can. But those are some of the statistics for our team. Looking at the NFL overall, we'll just look at who the leaders of various things were really quickly. I think we saw some of this earlier, but Don McCoy led everyone with yardage, passing yardage, and Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, Dak Prescott, Brandon Holman. All guys we faced. I think we faced all these guys except for Josh Allen. We had to. Let's see. Don beat us once. Prescott beat us once. Yeah. Jonathan Taylor, Blackshear's number 2, couldn't get the rushing title. Not even close. Jonathan Taylor just had a great season. Almost 2,000 yards. Derrick Henry, Najee Harris, and Josh Jacobs. Looking at receiving, Chris Godwin led all receivers in yardage. Looking at receptions, Diggs got the most receptions and Godwin got the most yardage. Pickens with 3 in yardage, Kirk, Deebo Samuel. Looking at touchdowns though, Tyrone Lucas with 22 touchdowns, and he ends up being the offensive player of the year for the NFC, or the offensive wide receiver, best wide receiver, because of those touchdowns. I believe that's why it was. And looking at the defense, tackle Nakobe Dean with Troy Anderson, Okereke, and Fred Warner are the top picks for that. Tackles for loss is Montez Sweat. Really? Leads for tackles for loss? Are we in this mix? 28. Hold up. Sometimes with the defense, there's a weird bug that doesn't show my players in there. So Brian Burns leads with 44. I was about to say, I think we had more than that. 28 sacks. That's still crazy. Yeah, and the next guy is 21 with Myles Garrett, which is also crazy. Interceptions, we had the most there. There you go. There's a look at some of the statistics and the league leaders. We saw the yearly awards in the last episode. We'll review a few of those really quickly. Josh Allen with the MVP. Lynn Wagner, Coach of the Year. Hold up, I thought we were Coach of the Year. It says Lynn Wagner's Coach of the Year right there, but doesn't it say we're Coach of the Year in the recap? Uh-oh. There's a bug. We got Beaux Jackson as Coach of the Year here, and we have the Washington Commander coach as Coach of the Year. I'm looking at the right year, right? Yeah, 2024. They have us at number 2 now. That's weird. Jonathan Taylor, Myles Garrett, Stan Quincy, Dickens, Aaron Rodgers, best quarterback. I wonder if this is different than it was the last time. I mean, look at us, right? So J.C. Horn. Wait a minute, what? Oh, J.C. Horn is the best. Hold up, we go back to the beginning. Best quarterback, Dak Prescott, Blackshear. Okay, Lucas, Jenkins, Burns. Looks like a lot of our players are represented. Best linebacker, Michael Parsons. Jeff Wusu was next. JC was top. Yeah, that was right. Offensive and defensive player of the year. There you go. You can slow down on those if you want to take a look, but we saw some of those in the episode just before this. All right, so we've done the season review, we've done the stats, we've done the league award leaders and the yearly awards. Let's look at some of our players as we kind of think about what's happening for this offseason. What I want to look at is who moved with their dev traits. Did we have more people? And it looks like we do have more. I wish there was a sign, a screen that would tell us, hey, these players got better, these players got worse, and that would be really helpful. But I believe Elgin Jenkins was not a Superstar X Factor, and he got moved up to Superstar X Factor. Let me see. I think there's a progression history. Yeah, Superstar Dev is what he gets because he got Player of the Year. Very nice for him. Mays was already a Superstar X Factor. These other guys, I think, moved up to Star. I think he was already Star. I think that's it for the offense. No one else really moved. Mingo Star. I wonder, is Tyrone Lucas a Star now? Or was he already? Oh yeah, he does move to Star. As wide receiver of the year, he gets the Star Dev. He was not the Star Dev before. Nice. So he moves up a little bit. So we got stars and superstars with the exception of Jalen Samuels. Defensively, we had some movement as well. Ooh, the big news here is Tyree Wilson, like we mentioned earlier, Superstar Dev trait now, and puts these two cats on the end. Man, that is something. Dante Jackson gets to Superstar Dev trait. JC Horn was already Superstar X Factor. Savage was a star. Dugan, not a star. Jimmy Rogers. I think Owusu Koromoa gets upgraded in this offseason as well. Yes, development trade increase. Superstar Dev for him in this offseason. So quite a few players are progressing. I didn't see very many people who were degressing, at least not of our starters. And so that's good. Yeah, man. Oh, look at that team. It's no wonder that, I mean, you've got two really good corners. You've got a great, strong safety. And now you're going to have two really good ends. Man, that's going to be nuts. That's going to be newts. All right, so that's some of the player progression. Right now, staff changes. We don't have any big staff changes. No one has come and gotten our offense and defensive coordinators. So that is helpful. And now this is the big one. Let's take a look at the salary cap. Salary. Gonna look at the team salaries and see what we have here. We'll start with just, let's see, can we do this position by position? Let's do a position by position. So Bryce Young, he's with us for a little time and he's making quarterback money, so that's fine. But Matt Corral is going to be looking for a extension soon, and I don't think we're going to extend him. This is kind of what we were talking about. It's not a money decision. It really is a quarterback option decision. You know, Bryce has been all right, but he hasn't been amazing. And I think that, you know, I'm interested in seeing another potential quarterback. It could happen. I know it's just his third year, and I know that we've won a couple of Super Bowls, and so, but I think somebody that can push him will be good. Matt Corral would have been a good backup for him because they have similar type play styles. But I don't know. I know so Matt Corral may or may not remain on our team, and I'm okay with that. This year, we may be looking to trade Matt Corral. He may want to see if he can get on another team. He has no shot of starting here. He's only 66 overall, so he doesn't have a shot scoring. Starting very many places. Raheem Blackshear, just looking at this, running back situation looks to be pretty good. We may look to move Kalai, or we may look to move Isaiah Swift and get a more stronger halfback. But at 74, we're looking for a power back. That might be all right. He may be fine. So ultimately, we're not having any issues there. Definitely going to let Don Harris go. Didn't like the way he was playing. We'll keep Jeremiah Barker. Played great as a kick returner. But the rest of these guys, I think we're all right on. Tyler Scott, we can move on from. If there's a trade package and Tyler Scott needs to be a part of it, then we will do that. We're not stuck on Tyler Scott for sure. But Gerard, Lucas, and Mingo, they're staying with the team. Definitely staying with the team. Like those three players and looking to keep going with them. Okay, so Ian Thomas, this is probably a big decision to make. Both Ian Thomas, we did sign Josh Oliver to an extension, but Ian Thomas, I think we're going to let go. He's actually a good player, but for that money, for the money that he is making, he's just not going to return for that. So we're going to let Ian Thomas go, and that means that we're going to need to draft a tight end in this year's draft. Either draft or get someone from the free agency. But again, our money situation is not bad. We had $123 million in cap space, so we don't have to make big money moves. It's really team moves. Okay, so we could probably use a left tackle for depth. And so we're going to let Cornelius Lucas go, and we're going to look to draft or sign a left tackle. Elton Jenkins, these guys look pretty good. Don't mind what we have here. It's I think we're all right with the center position, with the left guard position. With the center position, also we think we're all right. I think we're doing really good here. Might need to look at a center for Feliciano, at least for next year. Or Feliciano may end up retiring this year for all we know. Dom Lewis. Okay, so the rest of these are, these are good shape here. Paris Johnson, we like him, kinda. He was making some weird stuff in the game, but he's going to be looking for an extension this year, and we probably will extend him. He's not making a lot of money right now, but we're probably going to keep him. Brian Burns, we already know, $79 million, but worth every penny. And Barno will be looking to extend, and we're going to see about extending him. I would like to extend him. I really would. So hopefully he won't cost too much. Tyree Wilson's coming up, and he's going to want some money. Ooh, that's going to be a big signing right there. We're going to try to keep Tyree. We're going to try to keep Tyree. We might have to let Robinson go, which means that we may have to make some signings or drafting at the right end position. But we are going to let Robinson rock and roll. Larry Payne. Here's the deal. Payne is a end. Hold up. Yeah, no, he needs to be right where he is. So Payne is going to play defensive tackle, drafted as a right end. What I was going to say is if we needed to move Payne to the right end, we could, but we're going to try to keep Tyree Wilson. That is the plan. Can we keep him? Although, for the money, Tyler Wharton, I'm not opposed to drafting a young defensive tackle and moving on from Tyler Wharton. Not at all. So Wharton is kind of on the trade block. He's 27 years old. Either one of these guys, Milton Williams or Wharton, I'm open to trading either one of them if we needed to, and then we can draft a defensive tackle. I don't know what you guys think about that, but I feel like paying a lot of money for these two guys and not getting what we need. Maybe Milton is the guy, just because he's a younger guy and an easier person to trade. Has a little more upside for a team. Wusu Koromoa we definitely want to keep, but he's already signed up long term for 6 years. Anthony Owens will keep him. Von Bell, every year we try to decide whether we're going to keep Von Bell or not. Every year. Oh man, he's making a lot of money. We re-signed him. We did re-sign him this year. I'm gonna put him as I'm gonna mark him as someone who we're willing to trade if we have to. Always ready to move on from Von Bell for some reason. I think it's because I want to get Jimmy Rogers really in the game and get him going. And I think we could get a lot of the same things from Bell that we're from Rogers that we're getting from Bell or Diablo. But I'm just not sure. Greg Dugan will keep him there, and Bruce Smith will keep him there. Wait a minute, what was that? Hold up. Brandon Smith. I think we'll try to keep Brandon. He's gonna want right outside linebacker. He's all right. Yeah, I think we'll look to extend Bruce. We'll have to make that decision when the time comes. This is going to be a big one here too. J.C. Horn is already making a ton of money. He is going to want an extension. I think this is going to be a big decision for us. Because here's the deal. What if we didn't have J.C. Horn? What if we just had Dante Jackson, Stokes, and Michael Carter as our top three? That wouldn't be terrible. I mean, it's a drop down. But we're spending so much money on cornerback. 34 million, 49 million, 31 million, 17 million. That isn't a crazy amount of number. It is possible that we move on from JC. It is possible. It's possible. I think I'd like to try to trade him. He is in prime shape. So we would definitely get the number 1 draft pick out of him, and some. Superstar X Factor, 25 years old, 96 overall. But he's gonna want to get paid, and I'm not sure we want to pay him. I like the way Dante Jackson plays. Maybe it's time for Stokes to get on his road. Both of those players have already signed for 4 years. We're gonna let this go. I think we got a decision on J.C. Horn. We may be moving on from J.C. Horn. It could happen. It could happen though. So we'll see. We'll see what happens there. Savage is up next. Let's see, the free safety position. You know what? Xavier Woods, normally I would be looking to move on from him, but he played great when he was on the field. I think we're going to stay put with those two players. And I think we may stay put with these two players too. Although I wouldn't be opposed to drafting a strong safety and challenging that third spot. We may look to do that. Look for a strong safety in the draft if there's something there. But yeah, and so that's the salary cap situation. So you know what, we're not bad in salary cap. 123 mil. We have some big signings coming up. We've got some big signings coming up. I know we got the kicker. I think we're gonna let the punter go too. So we need to draft a punter, or sign. I'll just as well draft one instead of signing one. But overall, we're not in bad shape. You know, Lucas, we're going to let almost everyone who's trying to get a contract now, we're not going to extend. We're not extending Lucas, Robinson, Harris, Taylor, Thomas, Hecker. We're not extending them. Matt Corral, I'm open to a potential trade if that makes sense for someone. JC Horn, I'm open to a trade conversation with him as well. Jeremiah Barker, we want to keep. Kwanu, we definitely want to keep. We're going to re-sign him. Paris Johnson, we're going to see. I think a re-sign situation is good. Tyree Wilson, we are going to prioritize. And Rochelle, we'll see about him. Brandon Smith, will favorable, as long as he's not looking for too much. Barno is going to be ready to go. I think we want to sign him. And then fullback Jalen Simmons, I think we will try to bring him back as well. So those are kind of the things we have to be thinking about for the salary cap, and that kind of creates a little bit of a needs list for us as we look at what we need to do in this offseason. Last little bit here. Let's take a look at some of the draft potential players that we were looking at, and this is going to build out a little bit more. So expect this to grow a little bit over time. Expect this to grow, but let's take a look at the prospects we've already kind of marked. Oh, hold up, sorry about that. Wrong song. We picked this wide receiver. We're probably not going to get him, and we really don't need wide receivers, but it could be a generational player, so we're kind of interested. This guy, Timmy Beckham, is interesting to me as a power back. But most of our players that we had chosen, we hadn't gone through what I just gone through. So we really don't need wide receiver, halfback. Cornerback we could be interested in. I could be convinced to go after a corner. So Jaquez Hayward is probably one of the first real prospects. He's got F in stamina, A in injury, A in block shed, but B in coverage, man coverage, and a C in zone coverage. He could be okay. We don't need him, to start. So could be something there. Quarterback Wheeler, kind of interested in him. A day 3 quarterback, but has some decent ratings. Deep accuracy, medium accuracy, and short accuracy. He's a stand in the pocket passer, doesn't move, and could be a different kind of player. But for a day 3 quarterback, he looks pretty good, and could be somebody to watch out for. Matt Fullerton we looked at. He's another guy, strong arm. Again, also a stand in the pocket passer. B medium accuracy, B deep accuracy. Both of those traits, those skills, are important to us. And then we parked some punters. Let's see who else we have here. Tyler Morant is a round 1 quarterback. He's a scrambler. We haven't really played a scrambling type of game. We do want to be able to go deep, and he's got great play action, good medium pass, but I think the issue with him is we don't know what this deep accuracy is. And so I'm very curious if he can get a B or a C in deep accuracy, particularly a B. If he can get a B in deep accuracy, then I'm here for Tyler Morant, but I don't want to draft him in the first round. I don't want to pay all the money for him. A couple more halfbacks is what we had chosen before, but we're gonna open up. We're gonna go back and look at this a little bit more, and now that we kind of have a list of who we need to get, we need to look at free safety. We need to look at both safety positions. So look like we might be able to get some value with a strong safety position. We don't need a free safety. We need strong safety. Yeah, I have to look at these players and see what they're about. Left tackle is what we thought about. We might need it. So there's some players here. Top 5, round 1. Yeah. So we'll look through and take a look at some of our potential options. There'll be some more players. That's all right though. I'll keep you guys up to date as to who we're looking at and where we're going with that. So yeah, going into the off season, we don't have crazy cap issues, so that's good. We're good on the cap. We have some key signings. So far, the needs we think we're going to have. We think we need to deal with the tight end position, the left tackle position, the center position, the right end position, the defensive tackle position, the strong safety position, and a punter. And none of those are pressing needs. Those are just getting incrementally better and moving away from some of the staff, some of the cap stuff that we might have run into in the past. Trade potential. Players that may or may not be with this team at the end of this offseason. And so that's quarterback Matt Corral, wide receiver Tyler Scott, defensive tackle Tyler Wharton, or defensive tackle Milton Williams, middle linebacker Von Bell, and the big one, cornerback J.C. Horn. Looks like we did lose some staff. All right, let's take a look at some retirements, see if we see any big names. Tannehill, Casey Hayward, Cameron Jordan is done, ladies and gentlemen. I'm looking to see, Cornelius Lucas retires, so that helps that. This is what I was looking to see. Aaron Rodgers is done. Finally hangs it up after 20 years. A-Rod, actually that's the other guy, but Aaron Rodgers leaves a hole for the Jets. Stafford, Bobby Wagner, who else is key players? Levante David, he retires. Wow, just after 13 years. Russell Wilson's done. Thielen is done. Andy Dalton. Who else do we see? Any other big names? McKinnon's not a big name. Patrick Peterson, he's out of there. Let's see. McKissick, Latavius Murray. Oh man, Latavius Murray. And Mike McCarthy. The Dallas Cowboys will be getting a new coach this year. Dallas Cowboys get a new coach this year. Okay, so we do have to fill staff. Let me see, what do we need to fill? Both or one? Look at that. They keep robbing us of our offensive coordinators. We just keep robbing. Let's take a look real quick since this is in front of us. Okay, so we have a 3-4. 4-3 cover 3. Okay, so this is pretty easy. We can just handle this right now because we want to stay in our 3-4 scheme. We're going to hire Brian Wagner. Brian Wagner, let's go. You're in. You're in, and we're going to have to do some work with you. Oh, no, wait. That was offensive coordinator. Hold up. Hold up. Let's look back. All right, this should be offensive coordinator. Okay, so offensive coordinator. Let's see what the offensive. Oh, actually turns out Brian Wagner still is the guy. He's still the guy. But we can't hire him. Oh, yes, we can. Okay. All right, so Brian Wagner was fired, hired, and fired. I mean, hired, fired, and hired. All right, defensively, now, this is what we want to do. We're looking for 3-4 under Scott Anderson. I like Scott Anderson. 3-4 Storm. Base 3-4. Okay. This guy's okay. Lots of 3-4 options here. Base 3-4. So I think we did 3-4 Storm in the past. What is his talent tree? He already has those two. Boost the injury rating. I wonder if I think it's going to be better to sign Barry Marsh. So we're going to hire Barry Marsh as the defensive coordinator. All right, look at that. You guys got a couple signings already. Looking at this. Oh, the other thing we need to do is to get into the first round. We do want to try to trade into the first round. Okay, I think that's going to do it for this preview episode and a little bit of a couple of signings. Hopefully you guys enjoy the look and are excited for the future. We'll see what happens. Will J.C. Horn remain a Panther? That remains to be seen. Thanks for hanging out with us. I appreciate you. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. Stay tuned. We may be doing some live stuff soon. Definitely looking to do some live stuff for Madden 24, and definitely looking to see what team we may do a franchise with for Madden 24. But until next time, you guys be good. This is Pastor's Game 2. God loves you, and so do I. And I will see you when I see you. Peace.